Hello students and namaste everyone. I am Dhaval sir and our today's topic is your social science semester 1 last chapter, that is chapter number 9, the freedom movement of 1857. Right. So as we know that the Britishers, they developed their colonies over India and they were ruling over India. They had taken control over many parts of India, right? So due to their oppressive behavior, the Indian people were not at all satisfied with them, right? So due to that, a freedom movement took place in 1857 century, which is known as uh, that means the other names of this movement was the first war of independence, right? So this freedom movement was also known as the first war of independence. Then it was also known by other name also, the Great Rebellion, right? So many such name are there. So in this chapter we'll see what were the reasons, right, why this revolt took place against the Britishers, and who were the leaders of this revolt, who were the prominent leaders of this revolt. So we'll break this chapter into two parts. First we'll find out the reasons of the revolt, and in the second part we'll find out who were the leaders, and uh, that will be our second part. Okay, so we'll start with the explanation. Nationalism emerged in India due to not only the arrival of Europeans but also their behavior and policies. Right? So nationalism means the feeling of patriotism. Right? So a feeling of patriotism emerged in the India. That means in the Indian people, due to not only the arrival of Europeans but also their behavior and policies. So as we all know that the Britishers, they treated the Indian people with too much cruelty, right? And totally the Britishers were unfair towards the Indian people. Okay, so that was the reason for the feeling of patriotism. An important event happened in India in the year 1857 century, right? So due to the feeling of patriotism and nationalism developed in the Indian people, this event, which is the freedom movement of 1857, or we can say the first war of independence, was fought against the Britishers, that is in a united way. Before that also many wars took place, but all the people did not fight together, right? This was the event when maximum people of India, or we can say many people from the different corners or parts of the country, participated in this movement against the Britishers. Okay, so which became the first in the factors responsible for consolidating the sentiments of the nationalism in our country. So below that is given the reasons for the outbreak of the revolt of 1857. So as I said, in this first part of our lecture we'll find out the reasons why this revolt took place, right? The main reason for the revolt of 1857 century was the widespread dissatisfaction among the people in India due to the suppressive policy of the British adopted to spread their empire in India. So now suppressive policy means the behavior in which the people are forced, right, not to do the things which they are doing, right? So for forcibly treating the people not to do the things what they are doing, or the act of ending something with force, is known as suppression. Okay, so as it is written in the first line, the main reason for the revolt of 1857 century was the widespread dissatisfaction among the people in India due to suppression policies of the British adopted to spread their empire in India. So why they behaved in such a way? The reason is they wanted to expand their empire in India. So let's see the reasons one by one and try to understand it. So first one is the social and religious reasons. The policy of social reforms by the company made people insecure and suspicious. Suspicious means doubtful. They felt that the government was trying them to convert them to Christianity and destroy the Indian culture and religion forever. So in our previous chapters we have seen that the British um, officers, right, like Wellesley, Lord Dalhousie, right, they supported the Indians and they banned the sati system, the child marriage system, widow remarriages were done, right. So these were the actually the evil practices prevailing in the society. But as these things were banned from the society, the people they felt that the Britishers they are trying to destroy their culture, right, and they are trying to convert them to Christianity. So therefore the people were very much dissatisfied and they were very much afraid. People believed that the Indian social system was deliberately undermined in the railways, jails, and military. So, deliberately means intentionally, right? So, undermined, undermined in the railways. That means they were not given importance in the railways, jails, and militaries. One of the examples which we'll see in this chapter is that the Indian soldiers who used to work in the British army, they were paid only 7 rupees, and the Britishers who worked at the same post were paid 150 rupees, and the chances of promotions in the job were given maximum to the Britishers only. The Indians did not have any chance of promotion. So this is a kind of injustice or biasness. Okay, a large section of our society was orthodox at that time, and thus the new changes. So orthodox people means the people who don't easily accept the changes, right. So those people were orthodox at that time. The new changes arose the feeling of dissatisfaction in them. So as the Britishers were trying to bring some changes in the society, they were totally dissatisfied with the Britishers. As a result, many people joined this freedom movement to sustain their socio-religious culture. Sustain their socio-religious culture means to maintain their culture. They didn't want that their culture should be vanished from the society. Next is the economic reasons. So economic reasons means related to money. The aim of the British was to bring prosperity to England at the cost of India. At the cost of India means whatever will happen to India didn't matter for the Britishers. They just wanted money. As a result, most of the sections of the Indian society became impoverished. Impoverished means poor, right. So this all things also we have already seen the economic and social impact, okay, of the Britishers. We had seen under which the peasants they had become poor, the artisans, the craftsmen, right. So all these people were cheated, they were taxed higher, right. So we have already discussed all these things, so we'll not discuss it again over here. So we'll just understand that due to the Britishers, maximum people of India, right, so most of the sections of Indian society had become poor. The landlords and the peasants, having lost their lands, participated in the revolt. So this is also one of the major reason. Okay, further political reasons. So the East India Company acquired the Diwani rights, right. So after the Battle of Buxar, this Diwani rights were given by Shah Alam to the Britishers to collect the tax from West Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, right. So that means directly the Britishers they got the right to collect revenue or the tax from the people of these places, right. As a result of their victory in the Battle of Buxar in 1764 century, this was followed by an aggressive policy of expansion with the help of subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, policy of annexation and mere diplomacy. So these are all the different policies adopted by the Britishers to capture or to expand their territories. Okay, so subsidiary alliance system also we have already discussed that it was a system under which the Britishers provided their army to the Indian rulers, and one of their officer was compulsorily forced to be set in the court of the Indian ruler, and they could not use the army on their own. So that was subsidiary alliance. Then doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse means the policy under which if a person did not have a natural hair means he did not have his own son. If he has adopted the son, then that adopted son is not liable to become the king. So those kingdoms were taken away by Britishers. So doctrine of lapse was introduced by Dalhousie. Right. Again, policy of annexation was also introduced by Dalhousie. Policy of doctrine of lapse. So example of this policy is Jhansi. Right. Jhansi, Satara. Okay. Diplomacy means negotiations. So they tried to negotiate with the rulers or the kings, and they tried to take away their territory. Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi and Raja Kumarsi of Bihar, who were among the few of the victims of these policies, joined the revolt to regain their territory. So as I said, that Jhansi, okay, and the queen of Jhansi was Rani Lakshmibai, and in the similar fashion or similar way, Kumarsi of Bihar, so their territories were also taken away by the Britishers, and they also joined the revolt to get back their, regain means get back their territories. Landlords and peasants who had lost their farms too joined the revolt. And one of the major reason, right, why this revolt took place was military reasons. The number of British officers and soldiers was very less in a vast country like India. The ratio of the Indian soldiers to the British soldiers was approximately 6:1 in the military. That means 6 soldiers of Indian army, and in comparison to that, 1 soldier was there of British army. The higher posts in the military were reserved for the British. The opportunity of promotion was very limited for the Indian soldiers. There was a big difference between the salary of an Indian soldier and a British soldier. So this example I have already given it to you just before few minutes. Okay. The Indian foot soldiers received 7 rupees, while the British soldiers received 150 rupees per month. Right, so this was purely injustice, biasness. Okay. The British soldiers considered the Indian soldiers to be low and insignificant. Insignificant means without any importance. As per the religious restrictions, the Indian soldiers were not allowed to cross the sea, or else the person would be treated as an outcast. That means in the Indian religion or Indian society, there was a restriction made on the people that they cannot cross the sea and go to the foreign territory. And if they cross the sea and go to the foreign territory, then they will be outcasted from the society. That means they will be removed from the religious group. Okay. Despite this custom, the Indian soldiers were compelled to cross the sea. Compelled means they were forced to cross the sea in order to fight battles for the British. Right. So though this custom was prevailing not to cross the sea, they were forcibly sent to the foreign countries, crossing the sea and fight for the Britishers. Thus, like in other Indians, the soldiers too felt that their religion was at stake. Stake means at risk. The soldiers, being a part of Indian society, shared the same sentiments of grief. Sentiments means emotions or feelings of grief. Grief means sadness. Suspicion, that means doubt. They were doubtful. Right. And anger as others did. Okay, so these were the military reasons. Right. Then we'll move ahead. Next is the immediate reasons. So there were various reasons for the rising anger and discontent among the people towards the British rule. In January 1857, a new rifle, that is Enfield rifle, name of the rifle is Enfield, was introduced in the Indian Army. The cartridge of this rifle, cartridge means the case in which the powder is filled, gunpowder. Okay, so that cartridge, that is known as cartridge. The cartridge of this rifle had to be bitten off before being used. That means it had to be bitten like this before being used. And this cartridge was greased with the fat of cow and pig. Okay, So for the Hindus, the beef means the cow, and for the Muslims, the pork means the pig, was prohibited by their religion, right? Hence, they felt that the Britishers were deliberately trying to desanctify their religion. So actually, the Hindus, they consider cow as their mother god, right? And the Muslims, they considered pork, that is pig, as a bad sign or a bad omen. They did not consider pig as a good thing. Okay, so they had to bite this cartridge which was greased with this fat of the cow and pig, and so therefore they thought that these Britishers were deliberately means intentionally trying to desanctify their religion. Desanctify means to remove the sacredness, okay, from them. The response to their complaints in the same regards was not satisfactory. That means they had complained to the Britishers regarding this, but nothing had happened. Their complaints were not listened, and satisfactory answers were not given to the Indian people. Hence, the 19th Battalion of Barakpur was the first to refuse the use of the cartridge. As a result, the entire battalion was disbanded. Disbanded means removed, or we can say it was dissolved. That means they were removed from the job. Planning of the revolt and Mangal Pandey. Right, so as all the people of India, in some or the other way, they were not satisfied with the Britishers, they had decided to fight against Britishers on 31st May 1857. Right, so we'll read out about that. It was planned to begin the revolt across the nation. See, this is very important. Across the nation, in the whole nation, whole country, against the East India Company on 31st May 1857. Okay, leaders like Nana Sahib Peshwa, Bahadur Shah Zafar, Kuwar Singh, and the Nawab of Awadh had joined hands with Tatya Tope, an efficient military commander. He was a commander in chief. Rango Bapuji, an accomplished planner. That means he was going to plan out how to take out the revolt. And Azimullah Khan, a lawyer and a journalist, to lead the revolt. Lotus and roti were the symbols to join the revolt for the civilians and the soldiers respectively. So that means the symbol of lotus was for the civilians and roti was for the soldiers. So through these symbols, people could understand, or people could understood that they are going to join the revolt. These symbols were circulated across the nations. Bards, Hindus, Muslim priests, Aulias and messengers played their part in spreading the word about the revolt. So as we know that it was not very easy to spread the message to fight against the Britishers in a united way in those times, because there were no telephones and there were no TV channels, right? So, and the Britishers had a constant watch on the Indian people. So how to spread the message that all the people together will revolt against the Britishers on 31st March. So these people played a very, very important role. Okay, fine. So next paragraph, Mangal Pandey opposed the use of the cartridge greased with the fat of cows and pigs. As a result, the revolt began earlier than the fixed date. That means Mangal Pandey could not control his feelings. He was so much angry that he revolted against the Britishers just before the date finalized. Okay, that is 31st. It disrupted the planning. Disrupted means disturbed the planning, and the objectives of the revolt could not be achieved. Right, so as Mangal Pandey revolted earlier, everything got disturbed, and what results were expected could not be achieved. That means the Indians had expected that they will defeat the Britishers, and the Britishers had to be removed from the India. which could not be achieved, and the people of India, they were defeated. Mangal Pandey was born to a Brahmin couple in Nagwa village of Uttar Pradesh. He joined the British army as a soldier at 7 rupees as his salary. The Indian soldiers who had agreed to revolt wanted to wait till 31st May. Right, whereas 26 years old Mangal Pandey could not wait till then. He refused to follow the orders of refusing the Enfield rifle and challenged the British officers. Sergeant Major Hewson ordered to arrest him, but Mangal Pandey shot him. That he was shot by Mangal Pandey, and that sergeant was dead. He defeated another British officer too. That means he killed two of the British officers. The Indian soldiers refused to arrest Mangal Pandey, being a Brahmin, because we know that in those times uh, the Brahmin families were at the top of the Indian society, right? So it was considered a crime to arrest a Brahmin son. Therefore, they denied, okay, to arrest Mangal Pandey. When he was cornered by the British soldiers, that means when he was surrounded by the British soldiers and he could not escape from there, he shot himself by his own rifle. A bleeding Mangal Pandey was taken to the hospital because the British wanted to get information about the plan of the revolt from him. Right, so this is what the event took place. The military court pretended to run a case. Pretended means to show something which is not real or actual. So military court pretended to run a case against Mangal Pandey on 6th April 1857. The entire proceeding was in English. He was sentenced to death at the end, but he did not divulge any information. Right, so he did not divulge means to give information, to make known. Right, so he did not divulge any information regarding the revolt to the Britishers. That's how our patriots were. That means they were so strong and so courageous. He was hanged at 5:30 a.m. on 8th April, and that's how he became the first martyr of the revolt of 1857. Okay, so this was all about Mangal Pandey, right? So as I said, now in the next part, that will be our second lecture. We'll study about the spread of the revolt and its leaders. That means who were the leaders of this revolt and how they had contributed. Okay, so that will be discussed in the second part. We'll end our first lecture over here, and I thank you everyone for watching my video.